Every little remark. Every small setback. Every petty inconvenience. If these things find their way under your skin, then understand this truth: you are surrendering the most valuable possession you will ever own, the power of your own mind. I have spent a lifetime studying the lives of the most successful men and women this world has ever produced: Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Theodore Roosevelt, and I tell you with absolute certainty, these giants of industry and achievement did not have fewer troubles than the common man. No. They had simply mastered the art of controlling their reaction to those troubles. Imagine, for a moment, walking through life with a mind so disciplined, so directed by a definite purpose, that no insult, no failure, no fleeting frustration could disturb your inner equilibrium. No more overthinking. No more emotional outbursts. Just complete, unbroken self-mastery. In this lesson, I shall teach you how to train your mind so thoroughly that nothing and no one shall ever again hold dominion over you. For once you master this principle, you have unlocked the very gateway to riches, achievement, and lasting peace. 1. Mastering that nothing bothers me mindset. Life is filled with noise. The opinions of small minds. The daily frustrations. The unexpected reversals of fortune. The world is relentless in casting distractions and criticisms across the pathway of every man and woman who dares to pursue a worthy aim. But I say to you, true strength is born in the soil of indifference to the trivial. The principle is this: thought precedes action, and what you persistently think upon, you become. If you permit external circumstances to dictate your emotional state, you have made yourself a slave to forces beyond your control. But when you train the mind to remain unmoved, you become the master of your own destiny. The world bows before those who remain calm in the midst of chaos. It respects the man who does not crumble when pressure descends. When you embody this state of being, you command authority without uttering a single word. You move through life with presence, with that magnetic personality which draws opportunity toward you as iron filings to a lodestone. Consider the great achievers of history. They were not the men who reacted impulsively to every slight. They walked through criticism as a king walks through a marketplace, aware of the noise, but untouched by it. Their strength lay not in argument, but in the unshakable conviction of their own definite major purpose. Imagine someone insults you in public. The common man retaliates. The disciplined man smiles, turns, and walks away, and in doing so, he robs the offender of the very reaction the offender hungered for. You walk away stronger. Untouched. Undefeated. The same applies to defeat itself. Most men drown in the bitter waters of frustration, lamenting for days, weeks, even years over what went wrong. But the man who has trained his mind sees temporary defeat for what it truly is: a seed of equivalent or greater benefit, planted by infinite intelligence to teach him what he could not otherwise have learned. How do you cultivate this command? Begin with this daily practice. Pause before you react. Ask yourself, does this circumstance affect my definite purpose? Is my reaction necessary, or am I surrendering my power? By repeatedly choosing non-reaction, you forge an armor that shields you from the trivialities of life. Then employ the principle of autosuggestion. See yourself, in the theater of your mind, as one who moves through life unaffected. Picture this self vividly, repeatedly, with feeling and faith. What the mind persistently visualizes, the subconscious mind faithfully delivers. 2. Stay unshaken, the discipline of emotional detachment. Think upon the strongest individuals you have ever known. They do not react impulsively. They pause. They assess. They respond with intention. This is not because they are devoid of feeling, it is because they have placed their feelings under the command of their will. Self-discipline is one of the cardinal principles of all achievement. It is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. Picture yourself in a heated quarrel. The other person seeks to provoke you, to draw out your anger, to feed upon your emotional collapse. Do you surrender your peace? Or do you smile, calm and unaffected, knowing their words carry no weight unless you grant them weight? Consider the man who lost everything: his business collapsed, his investments crumbled, his fortune vanished overnight. Most would drown in despair. But this man understood what I have taught for decades: every adversity carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. He treated his failure not as tragedy, but as tuition paid to the university of life. With this mindset, he rebuilt and built greater than before. This is the power of detachment. When you cease to identify yourself with your failures, you free yourself to rise above them. A great cause of failure among ambitious men is emotional turbulence. They begin with burning desire, but surrender at the first sign of difficulty. The disciplined mind understands that emotions are fleeting and refuses to allow temporary feelings to derail a lifetime purpose. 3. Mindful indifference is a superpower. We have been conditioned to believe we must care about everything, every opinion, every approval, every judgment. Society teaches that your worth is measured by how deeply you invest in the expectations of others. But true freedom is found in the realization that most things simply do not matter. The next time you find yourself overthinking, ask, will this matter 5 years from now? If not, release it. Most of what troubles us, criticism, temporary setbacks, fleeting embarrassments, becomes vapor with time. Yet we permit these vapors to consume our thoughts and steal our energy. Indifference is not apathy. Indifference is prioritization. It is the recognition that your mental and emotional energy is a finite resource, and you shall invest it only in that which serves your definite major purpose. Look at those you admire most. They are not desperately seeking approval. They stand firm, unshaken by the noise of the world. They know who they are, and because they know, they cannot be moved. When someone criticizes you unjustly, the weak-minded react. The strong remain calm, understanding that words possess only the power we surrender to them. That self-respect commands more respect than any outburst ever could. 4. Stop seeking approval. Seeking approval is a trap, my friend. It places the keys to your happiness in the pockets of other people. The moment you grant another the power to define your worth, you have abdicated the throne of your own life. True confidence is not granted, it is built. It is built upon self-reliance, upon faith in your own abilities, upon the unshakable knowledge that you require no man's permission to be yourself. The need for approval is rooted in fear, fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of standing alone. And I tell you plainly, the 6 basic fears are the great enemies of all achievement. The more you chase approval, the more you surrender your power. No matter what you do, someone will speak against you. Some will admire you. Others will criticize. Many will not care at all. So why squander your finite energy attempting to please all? Consider the men who have moved the world, the inventors, the leaders, the creators. They were not driven by the desire to fit in. They were driven by a burning desire backed by definite purpose. Their confidence was not built upon public opinion. It was built upon self-belief. And that is why they were unstoppable. Begin to ask yourself, whose opinion truly matters? The loudest voices most often come from those who do not walk your path, who have never attempted what you attempt, who understand nothing of your journey. Their words carry no weight unless you grant it. Then practice the principle of self-validation. Acknowledge your own progress. Celebrate your wins. When you begin to recognize your own worth, external applause becomes irrelevant. 5. Handle criticism through the law of the mastermind. Criticism is inevitable. But how you handle it shall define the magnitude of your success. Most people crumble at the first sign of disapproval. They take every comment to heart and allow it to reshape their self-identity. But understand this, criticism is nothing more than words, opinions filtered through the limitations of the speaker. It possesses only as much power as you choose to give it. There exist 2 kinds of criticism, and you must learn to distinguish between them as a banker distinguishes genuine currency from counterfeit. Constructive criticism is valuable. It proceeds from those with experience, knowledge, and a genuine wish to see you grow. This is the counsel of your mastermind alliance, and it must be welcomed. Destructive criticism is born of jealousy, insecurity, or ignorance. It is the counterfeit currency of small minds, and it is worthless. Unless you accept it as legal tender. When someone criticizes you, ask, does this person possess the experience or credibility to judge me? If yes, weigh their words carefully. If no, move on. Not every voice deserves your attention. Visionaries throughout history have faced relentless criticism. Their ideas were doubted, their decisions questioned. Yet they pressed forward, refusing to allow outside noise to deter them. They understood that criticism is often the price of progress. 6. Keep your composure under pressure. Pressure exposes character. Some break. Some fold. The strong remain unshaken not because they are immune to stress, but because they have conditioned the mind before the storm ever arrives. Understand this principle: not everything shall proceed according to your plan. People shall disappoint you. Obstacles shall appear. Unexpected reversals shall come. But you shall not react emotionally. You shall respond with strategy and calm calculation. Most men crack under pressure because they resist reality itself. They expect every road to be smooth, every outcome certain. When life proves otherwise, they panic, complain, and freeze. But those who train themselves to embrace uncertainty adapt, they move with the chaos, not against it. Think of a seasoned warrior. He does not enter battle expecting ease. He expects resistance. He expects ambush. Yet he remains composed, for he has already accepted the reality of conflict and prepared his mind accordingly. You must adopt this same conditioning. Mentally rehearse adversity. Prepare your mind for the worst, while your faith works upon the best. When you do this, nothing shall catch you off guard. You become a strategist, not a reactor. 7. Letting go of what you cannot control. Suffering, my friend, comes from attachment. Attachment to outcomes, to expectations, to that which lies beyond our power to command. But true mental strength lies in the wisdom to release what cannot be controlled. Picture a river. The water does not argue with the rocks in its path. It flows around them. It does not demand the stones move, it adapts. And in adapting, it reaches the ocean. This must be your approach to life. Some events shall unfold regardless of how greatly you stress over them. The opportunity that vanished, the partner who departed, the setback you did not foresee. You may resist and suffer, or adapt and advance. The choice belongs always to you. Letting go is not surrender. It is the redirection of energy toward what you can command: your thoughts, your habits, your responses, your definite major purpose. Clinging to expectation makes you brittle. Releasing it makes you flexible, and flexibility is the secret companion of all who endure. Begin with small frustrations. The long line. The slow traffic. The change in plan. Notice how liberating it is to not react. Then apply this same mindset to greater challenges. Over time, you shall walk through life with a peace that others admire but cannot comprehend. 8. Silence is the ultimate power move. In a world drunk on noise, silence is a weapon few know how to wield. Most people speak to fill empty air, to gain validation, to prove something to someone. But the most powerful individuals, I have studied them for 50 years, they do not speak unnecessarily. They listen. They observe. They calculate. And when at last they do speak, every word carries the weight of considered judgment. Silence makes the unprepared uncomfortable. It forces others to second-guess themselves, to fill the space, to reveal what they would have kept hidden. The one who speaks less holds more. Words reveal, silence conceals. Imagine yourself in a negotiation. An offer is presented. The other party expects an immediate response. But you pause. You let silence stretch. The longer you wait, the more unsettled they become. They begin to soften. They offer better terms. Why? Because silence creates tension, and tension creates leverage. The same applies in everyday affairs. When someone insults you, stay silent. They expect anger. They expect defense. When you grant them nothing, they lose all power over you. If you wish to cultivate this discipline, practice restraint. Pause before you speak. Listen more than you speak. Let others reveal themselves first. The less you say, the more carefully others will listen when at last you do speak. 9. Train yourself to stay calm, no matter what. Your mind is the battlefield upon which every victory and every defeat of your life shall be decided. The thoughts you permit to enter shall determine whether you conquer or are conquered. Every doubt, every fear, every hesitation is an enemy, and these enemies must be subdued, daily, through the discipline of directed thought. The strongest individuals are not those who never experience negative thoughts. They are those who refuse to be ruled by them. To build an unshakable mind, you must construct mental habits as a mason constructs a wall, one brick at a time, every day, without exception. Gratitude to counter negativity. Discipline to override laziness. Detachment to dissolve suffering. Persistence to overcome resistance. Faith to summon the cooperation of infinite intelligence. Just as the body grows stronger through resistance, the mind becomes resilient through daily training. You cannot expect mental toughness to appear in the hour of crisis if you have not conditioned yourself in the hours of peace. Mental strength is built in the small moments. In waking when you would rather sleep. In remaining silent when you could argue. In pressing forward when every fiber begs you to quit. The mind, like a muscle, grows only through resistance. 10. Mastering the art of moving in silence. Real power moves in silence. It does not seek attention. It does not require validation. It simply acts, and lets the results speak for themselves. The loudest voices in any room are most often the weakest. They crave recognition. They announce their intentions. They beg for approval. But the truly strong move quietly, strategically, with precision. If you desire respect, then cease announcing your plans. Cease explaining yourself to everyone. Do the work. Make the progress. Success is not built by words, it is built by action. The more you talk, the more you invite scrutiny, doubt, and resistance. But when you labor in silence, no one sees you coming, and by the time they notice, it is far too late. The most influential figures in history were not those constantly speaking of their next move. They understood that power lies not in promises, but in execution. They did not explain their vision to those who could not understand it. They simply built. They created. They dominated in silence. Develop the discipline to keep your ambitions private. Work relentlessly, but seek no applause. Let people wonder. Let them question how you remain so composed, so unfazed. The less they know, the more control you retain. In a world where everyone is desperate to be noticed, be the one who is unconcerned with notice. While others chase attention, you shall chase mastery. While they focus upon appearing successful, you shall focus upon actually becoming successful. The final word. My friend, you have within you, at this very moment, the power to become absolutely unshakable. The principles I have laid before you are not theory. They are the distilled wisdom of the most successful men and women I have studied throughout my lifetime. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Train your mind to be unmoved. Discipline your emotions. Release what you cannot control. Move in silence. Let your results speak. And one day, sooner than you imagine, others will look upon you and ask how nothing seems to disturb your peace. And you shall know the answer. You trained for this. You built this. And nothing in this world can take it from you.